Sometimes life slows down, the momentum stops, the fire dims, and you look around wondering, why do I feel so stuck? But what if I told you that this season, this pause, it's not a punishment, it's preparation, it's divine realignment, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. We live in a world that glorifies progress, speed, results. But growth isn't always loud because transformation doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it looks like stillness, like silence, like waiting. But that doesn't mean that nothing is happening. In fact, some of your most powerful growth happens in the dark. Like seeds buried beneath the soil. I know I mention this every episode, but it's true. They don't bloom the moment they are planted. They need time, nurturing, and faith. So, if you feel stuck right now, listen to me. You're not behind, you're not lazy, and you're not failing. You are becoming. Hi guys, my name is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 3 of my mini series. So let's get right into it. Here is what I want you to remember when you feel uninspired. And it's that inspiration is not a lightning bolt. It's a daily decision. We've been conditioned that inspiration is something that just strikes. A magical moment that just falls from the sky and suddenly everything makes sense. But the truth is, waiting for inspiration is just another form of procrastination. If you want to feel inspired, you have to choose to show up, even when you don't feel ready. And especially when you don't feel ready. Because you don't wait for inspiration, you create it. You create it when you honor yourself, even with the smallest of rituals. You create it when you wake up and you resist that urge to just scroll for hours. And instead of doing that, you take a deep breath, you plant your feet on the ground, and you whisper to yourself, thank you for this new day. You create inspiration when you make your bed, not because it's a chore, but because you're creating order, a structure, and peace. You create inspiration when you choose to move your body, not to punish it, but to remind yourself that you are alive, and that your body is not just a vessel, your body is your home. Read one page of a book that expands you. Light a candle, say one affirmation or a prayer like, I am safe, I am seen, I am growing. Drink one glass of water, not mindlessly, but with intention. And say to yourself, this is how I love me. And that's where inspiration lives. Not in big breakthroughs, but in the small sacred acts of self-respect that you repeat every single day. Because when you do these things daily, something shifts inside of you. And it's not instant, it's not dramatic, but it's something gradual. Like the first rays of morning sunlight in a dark room, they start appearing. And you begin to remember who you are. You begin to feel connected again. And you begin to waken that fire inside of you slowly, gently, and powerfully. And the more you show up to yourself in these tiny ways, the more inspired you'll feel. Not because life changed, but because you did. You chose to participate in your becoming. You chose to act like the version of you are trying to become. You chose to act like the version of you that you are growing into. And you chose discipline over emotion, intention over impulse, and self-love over self-sabotage. So no, inspiration is not a lightning bolt. It's not random and it's not rare. It's a habit, a rhythm, a sacred decision to meet yourself every day with love, grace, and power. Next, I want you to reconnect with your why, because there will be moments in your journey when the excitement fades, when the vision starts to become blurry, and your goals start feeling distant. And in those moments, motivation alone will not be enough to carry you. You need something deeper, something rooted in your soul, and that is your why. Your why is the reason you started. It's that seed you planted in your heart when you said, I deserve more than this. It's that voice that whispers to you in those quiet moments, I'm made for more. It's that version of you who refused to settle. That version that looked around at the life that she was having and said, this can't be it. You didn't begin this journey just to stop the moment it got a bit uncomfortable. You began this journey because you believed, because you saw something bigger, something brighter for yourself, even when no one else could see it yet. And even now, when you feel stuck, you feel tired, you feel uninspired, that why still lives in you. It hasn't left. It's just waiting for you to remember. So pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, why did I start? Was it because you were tired of shrinking yourself into places that you didn't fit? Was it because you were tired of betraying yourself just to keep the peace? Was it because you wanted to become a woman who stands tall in her power, who radiates confidence, softness, wisdom, and strength? Your why doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to impress anyone. It just has to be real to you. It has to make your heart ache a little when you say it out loud, and it has to feel like the truth, because your why is what keeps you grounded when your mind starts spiraling. It is what wakes you up when you want to sleep in. It is what holds your hand when you feel like giving up, and it's that voice that says, keep going, I'm still here, and we are not done yet. And once you remember your why, once you connect with that raw, unfiltered version of why you began, then ask yourself the most important question of all. Who am I becoming? Because you are not just chasing a goal, you are evolving into a whole new version of yourself. The woman who is already living that life you are dreaming about. The woman who holds her boundaries with grace, who doesn't seek validation because she validates herself. That woman who moves with intention, speaks with love, and knows exactly who she is. And then ask, how would she act today? Would she complain or would she create? Would she scroll or would she journal? Would she run away or would she rise? Your future self is already watching you. And she is cheering for you, and she's waiting to meet you at the next level of your life. So when things get hard, when paths get blurry, and all the results aren't showing up, don't shrink, don't quit. Just come home to your why. Let it anchor you and let it remind you. You were never doing this just for the outcome. You were doing this to become her. Which gets me to my next point. Change your environments and not your dreams. Let's get something straight. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean you actually are stuck. There is a difference between being unmotivated and being uninspired. And often what we call lack of motivation is really just emotional exhaustion from being in an environment that doesn't support our growth. Sometimes it comes to a point in your life where your soul is ready to rise. It's not your place anymore. It's time for a change, because your surroundings can be dragging you down. Sometimes your dream is burning inside of you, but the energy around you is putting that flame off. So before you question your potential, your passion, or your purpose, take a good look at your environment. What energy are you sitting in every day? What kind of content are you feeding your mind first thing in the morning? What voices are you giving power to? Do the people around you inspire you or drain you? Are they rooting for your evolution? Or are they more comfortable with the version of you who doesn't change? And that is something that you really need to look into, because some people don't want you to evolve. They want you to stay at the same level as them. So watch out for that, because no matter how powerful you are, you cannot thrive in an environment that is just trying to shrink you. You weren't meant to bloom in chaos. You weren't meant to grow in clutter. And you weren't meant to shine in places where they're trying to dim your light. So what can you do? Start small, start sacred. Clean your space. Not because it's trendy or it's something that you have to do, but because your physical space reflects your internal world. Clear your desk, make your bed, light a candle, create an atmosphere that feels like peace, your safe place, like something where you get your clarity, something that is you. You deserve to live in a place that mirrors your worth. Next, unfollow the noise. Mute all of those accounts that make you feel less than. We're not interested in that. That's bad energy. That's lowering your energy. mute them, block them, whatever, out of your sight. Don't stop listening to those voices that trigger self-sabotage and comparison. You are the gatekeeper of your energy, and remember that. So protect it with intention. Next, we're going to go outside. We're going to touch the earth. We're going to feel that sun on our faces. And we're going to look up to the sky, and we're going to remember the world is so much bigger than your fears. So let nature hold you. Let it remind you of the cycles of life. How nothing blooms all year long, yet everything still grows. Next, we're going to surround ourselves with soul-expanding energy. And hear me out, this might mean solitude for a while. And this might also mean walking away from people who don't understand your journey. And it might feel lonely at first, but that loneliness is sacred. That's the space where you meet you. Because when you stop feeding your distractions and start nourishing your environment, everything begins to shift. Your mind becomes clearer, your energy becomes lighter. And suddenly something that might feel impossible starts feeling like it's within reach. So remember, you do not need to change your dream. You just need to stop keeping it in places where it's never going to survive. Create that space and protect that space. And watch how quickly your inspiration begins to bloom. Because now it finally has room for it. And finally, I want you to talk to yourself like someone that you love deeply. Because your words are spells. Every thought you repeat, every phrase you whisper under your breath, it all becomes a blueprint of your reality. So let me ask you, how are you talking to yourself when no one's watching? Now think about that. Would you ever look in the eyes to someone you love, your younger sister, a little girl, your best friend, and say, you are stuck, you are behind, you're a failure? Of course not. You wouldn't do that to someone you love, right? You would hold her face in your hands and say, you are doing so well. You are learning, you are growing, you are becoming. So don't stop now. So why do you deserve any less than that? Somewhere along the way, you learned to become hard on yourself. You learned that self-criticism was a form of self-discipline. That if you bullied yourself enough, you would just become better. But all that did was break your spirit. It didn't make you stronger. It just made you more scared of failing. So now it's time to unlearn that voice and to choose love as your inner language and not shame. So when you feel stuck, speak with grace. When you fall off track, speak with comparison. When you're tired, speak with understanding. Say to yourself, it's okay to rest and it's okay to feel lost sometimes. Growth isn't linear, but I'm still becoming. Because that version of you you're becoming doesn't need to be perfect. She needs to be seen, heard, loved, even in the in-between process. And especially in the in-between process. Think about it. If the little girl you used to be could hear those thoughts you have right now, what would she feel? Would she feel safe? Would she feel encouraged? Would she feel nurtured? Or would she feel like she's never enough? You are still that girl and you are still becoming, and you still deserve to be spoken with kindness, with love and with grace. So next time you catch yourself saying something mean about yourself or being too hard on yourself, you're going to put your hand on your heart and you're going to say, I am exactly where I need to be. I am unfolding. I am exactly where I need to be. I am still unfolding. I am doing the best I can. And that is enough. Because it is. You don't have to be harsh to evolve. You don't have to be mean to be disciplined. And you don't have to be perfect to be proud of yourself. Because real transformation comes from love. From nurturing yourself through the darkness. Not criticizing yourself for being in it. Talk to yourself like someone you deeply love, because you are worthy of softness. You are worthy of your own encouragement. You are worthy of being on your own side. Even now, even here, even when it's hard. And you are not meant to be in bloom every single day. is not realistic. Some seasons are for planting, some are for resting, and some are for rising. But all of them, and I mean all of them, are part of your becoming. So instead of asking, why am I stuck? Ask, what is this moment trying to teach me? What part of me is growing in silence? What beauty is unfolding that I can't see yet? And one day, and I assure you very soon, you'll look back and say, that season taught me how to love myself in the quiet. That version of me didn't give up. She kept going and she became me. You are doing better than you think. You are becoming more than you know. So stay inspired and stay grounded, because your breakthrough is already on its way. And let's see what the spirits have for us today. Okay, let's see. I am going to pick one. This one. Be true to yourself in all ways. Not everyone will get you. They can only understand from their level of perception. That's on them. No matter what people say, don't ever doubt your worth or the beauty you hold within. Stand tall in your power. I mean, and it's so true. This is what we were talking about. Sometimes you are not in the place where you're supposed to be. Sometimes you evolve. And that's okay. There's nothing bad about changing your environment when it doesn't suit you anymore. It's better to do that than to shrink yourself, to become that old version of yourself when you are meant to evolve. So stay true to yourself, and at the end of the day, only what you think matters, not what the rest. Okay guys, it's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and share this with someone who needs it. And remember, you are powerful, you are evolving, and you are right on time. And remember, I post videos every Wednesdays and Sundays, so I will see you very, very soon with the next episode of my mini series. Bye!